Everyone, I'd like to call the Brooklyn City Council meeting to order. Mary Jo, can you call the roll?
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
Barb Polinsky. Here. Ron Van Kirk.
Here.
Meg Ryan Shockey. Here. Andy Sellers.
Here.
Kathy Pucci. Here. Mary Jo Barrow. Here. Hold on. Let me turn off the microphone. Hello?
I'd like to apologize for our late start this evening. Our Finance Committee meeting went a little bit over, so I apologize for that. This time, would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? At the conclusion of the Pledge of Allegiance, please remain standing for our opening prayer. Tonight's prayer will be offered by the co-pastor of the Cleveland Baptist Church, Pastor Peter Folger. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you join me in prayer? Father, we thank you for this night. We thank you for the life and the breath that you've given us. Lord, we thank you for the opportunity we have to be involved in our nation's government, in our city governments, our state, and all the local authorities, and the opportunities that you've blessed us with to have a voice. Lord, we do pray for these men and women who will sit tonight and will decide things about our city and our community. We pray that you give them great wisdom, give them great discretion. Lord, we pray for those who protect us on a regular basis, for the men and women that serve in our community as firefighters and police officers. Pray that you watch over and protect them. Lord, again, we ask for your blessings upon this meeting and what will be said and done here tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, we do have a mayor's proclamation, so I will turn it over to the mayor.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to invite up the 7th grade girls basketball team. You want to come up, girls? And their coaches, Rachel Verba, Kristen Field, and Larissa Bindis. And so we're going to honor and recognize them tonight for being the basketball team winning the PAC champions, whereas the Brooklyn Middle School girls finished their regular season undefeated with an 11-0 record, whereas the team was the #1 seed entering into tournament play and ultimately earned the title of PAC champions, ending their season with an impressive 15-0 record. Our city is proud of these fine representation of sportsmanship, character, and leaders these young ladies displayed. I'm going to invite Rachel Verba to come up and say all of their names. I don't want to mess anybody's name up.
Sakura McGinnis, Naomi Tarver, Taylor Ruffin, Shreya Gales, Tiana Ruffin, Jenna Young, Genesis Caraballo, Adriana Barchak, Cara Marie Ruberte, Brianna Slewinski, Eva Singer, and Delaney David.
On behalf of myself, the City Council, and the entire City of Brooklyn, congratulations, girl, on your huge accomplishment. We're so very proud of you. Just a round of another class. Thanks again. You guys don't have to stay for the meeting.
Okay.
I tried his mom. Oh, you're not on this one. Yeah, no. Oh. But thanks, I take the credit. Yeah, you still do good. Still do good. Watch it.
All right, congratulations once again, ladies, even though they left the room, but congratulations. Just to let everyone know that Friday, March the 30th, city offices will be closed in the observance of Good Friday, and there will also be no special garbage collection on that day. We will now move on with our council meeting. At this time, we'll have the public session. If anyone in the audience has anything to say for the good and well for the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and address, and you will be recognized. Please remember to keep your comments to 5 minutes or fewer. No one? Okay. We'll move on then with reports of committees, commissions, and boards. I'll begin this evening with the Public Safety and Environmental Committee. We did hold a meeting after our last council meeting to discuss the following items. As you recall, there was a power outage down at Tiedemann Road from a vehicle that took out a power box down there, and it caused some problems with the lights. They weren't working for a time. And so the chief has talked before about having generators and things for backup whenever that happens. And so we discussed that in that meeting. And all the intersections that have lights on them will have some sort of power backup for those lights, or a foldable stop sign that can be opened up and used whenever the power's out. And so the committee did recommend the city do something like that. The chief is still gathering information, and of course, as the dollar amount becomes available, we will have discussions obviously in the finance committee and then in the council meeting as well. Another item we discussed was animal trapping, and this is an issue that comes up periodically. We discussed different options to handle the nuisance animals that we have in the city. We discussed possibly partnering with a neighboring city, offering some sort of limited in-house trapping, and also to partner with a private company, which the city has done in the past. And we'll continue this discussion in the future. The thing that has to be decided is how much do we want to offer, how much are we willing to spend on this. And so we will continue to discuss that, and we'll probably end up meeting again before a decision is made. We also discussed the new police station, a potential new police station, and other municipal services. And all of us were in agreement that another needs assessment will be done. Sergeant Knapp, after the meeting was over, sent us the previous two. We had one done in 2011 and 2005. 15, was it 11 and 15? Okay, 2011, 2015, we had them done. And of course, things change, and so it would have to go out for another needs assessment, will need to be done once again. And so we'll be probably doing that, at least putting an ordinance before council to do that here in the near future. Then the last thing we discussed was the Regional Development Dispatch Center there in Parma. And there's issues that we're working through, and then in our Finance Committee meeting, the mayor talked about some further issues that we potentially may have. And we talked in that meeting about, we were in agreement to increase the wages to hold on to dispatchers. One of the biggest problems they have in Parma is retaining their dispatchers. They lose, it's about a 50% turnover rate. And the wages that they were paying them is lower than what the wages of surrounding dispatchers centers are paying. And so we were losing them to those dispatch centers. So we were in agreement that that should be raised. Our contract it's past due. It's been renewed. Like, it's kind of been kicked down the road as we've had these discussions. But I won't go into all the details on the numbers. When we started this thing out, we were paying $212,000 a year. It went up to $236,000 a year. And depending on various iterations of adding dispatchers here, adding dispatchers there, they're going to shift the way that they do the cost breakdown, and it's going to be based solely on volume. And so the city of Brooklyn, depending on where everything shakes out, our responsibility can end up anywhere between $470,000 and $727,000 a year for that dispatch service. And of course, that is substantially higher than what the contractor rate was. We have been have shopped around at least at one other dispatch center, the Chagrin Valley Dispatch Center, and potentially others, right? So we are looking into this. The mayor's supposed to have the actual proposal from the Parma Dispatch Center sometime this evening, and of course, we will keep everyone updated, and of course, you'll hear anything before any agreement is signed. We will now move on with reports from the Recreation Board. Councilman Tansky.
Thank you. Good evening. The Brooklyn Recreation Center presents new public skating themes on Fridays, 8 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. April 13 is Cleveland Sports Skate. Brooklyn's summer youth baseball registration has begun and will continue through March 31st. The cost for residents is $55, non-residents $75, 3-year-olds $50, non-residents 10 Brooklyn City Schools $65. Season begins late May to early June. Birth certificates must be presented at registration. For more information, go to jobanyan@brooklynohio.gov. Camp Brooklyn is being offered Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. through 2:45 p.m. Camp dates to be announced. There are 4 different age groups this year, which include 5 and 6-year-olds, 7 and 8-year-olds, 9 and 10-year-olds, 11 and 12-year-olds. Students must be 5 years of age to participate. The cost per resident is $275. St. Thomas More, Heritage Christian, Parma Heights, and corporate fee $345. For more information, please contact daycamp@brooklynohio.gov. The next Recreation Board meeting will be held on Monday, April 16th at 7 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tansky. Next up is the Board of Zoning Appeals, and Mr. Kulsar will also give the Community Reinvestment Area report. Mr. Kulsar?
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. The Board of Zoning Appeals met this past March 15th to hear multiple variance requests from Tom O'Neill, representing Menard Incorporated for Menard's home improvement store located at 7700 Brook Park Road. First variance was an 8-foot variance to the maximum accessory structure height of 20 feet, an 8-foot variance to the maximum fence height of 6 feet, 96 space variance to the minimum of 1 parking space for each 400 square feet of floor area, a 120 square foot variance to the maximum of 2 square feet of signage for each 1 lineal foot of building frontage, 9 additional sign variants to the maximum of 1 identification sign on each building face, a 64-foot variance to the maximum freestanding sign height of 16 feet, 1 additional sign variance to the maximum of 1 freestanding sign per lot, 90 square foot variance to the 60 square foot maximum area of a single pole sign, and lastly, a 340 square foot variance to the 60 square foot maximum area of a single pole sign. Next were requests from Andrew Clark of 10407 Bidoff Road. He sought a variance for 1 foot to the maximum height of a fence in a front yard, and also a 13-foot variance to the maximum distance from the front of the building for that fence. All those variances were approved. The next meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals is scheduled for April 19th. It's at 6 o'clock here at Brooklyn City Hall Conference Room. Public is welcome. For the Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council, meeting was held today at 5:30 here in City Hall Council Conference Room. And the board was assembled, and 13 eligible tax abatements were eligible this year, and applications for those were sent out. 7 applications were received, and the board approved those, so those will go on to the county at the end of the month, and they are now eligible for 5 years of tax abatement for the additional improvements that they made to their properties. And that concludes that report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Coulter. Next up is our school board liaison, Councilwoman Politsky.
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. Middle school principal Mark Tansky spoke of the changing world for Generation Z. Since Google's start in 1998, we have a changing world, whether we think it's good or bad. We need to keep up. 3 teachers took Google training courses, and 5th graders are learning 21st century skills. Brooklyn Polaris students are heading for state competition, having placed in district and regional competition. They are Marcelo Carasilia, Basic Office System Procedure, 2nd place. In Prepared Speech, 1st place. Alejandro Cardona, I don't even know this word, Exemportonia Speech, 3rd place. Jelly Benz, Banking and Finance, 2nd place. Human Resources Management, 2nd place. Michael Gady, CNC Turning, 1st place. Victoriana Clegg, Medical Terminology, 1st place. Dawn Folkrod, Pastry Tray, 1st place. Sarah Williams, Advocacy, 1st place. Let's wish all these students good luck in their endeavor at state finals. Superintendent's recommendation to the school board to restructure elementary and middle school. The recommendation was to abolish 2 administrative positions and 2 administrative contracts effective August 31st, 2018. The recommendation was for 1 principal and 1 assistant principal for grades pre-K through 7. All school board members voted in favor of the proposal. I will inform you as additional information becomes available. School safety. Teachers are conducting drills with different grade levels. A high school safety forum was held on March 22nd. Plans are all stay vigilant. Communication is critical. Student hotline is available to report safety and bullying issues. It is 1-800-LISTEN-TO-ME, or you can go to the Brooklyn School website and click on the Stay Safe Speak Up icon on the homepage. The spring combined band concert was on Thursday, March 22nd at 7 p.m. Students from 5th grade through 12th grade chorus and bands participated. I hope you didn't miss it. It was fantastic. Brooklyn students are so lucky. Ms. Cipriani and Mr. Sullivan are their music teachers. Our talented students are in good hands. Don't forget to see the jazz band at the Taste of Brooklyn on April 28th, and that ends my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Politsky. The Planning Commission had a special meeting that was held on Thursday, March the 15th at 5:45 p.m. And this was to hear a request from Alan Adams for site approval for a temporary sales office for the Brooklyn Point Assisted Living Center at 0 Idawood Drive, and this request was approved. The next Planning Commission meeting will be held on Thursday, April the 5th at 6 p.m. to hear the following. A request from Michael Martin for a building addition, sign package and parking lot alteration for McDonald's at 4738 Ridge Road. A request from SureSight for an additional 3 antennas on an existing cell tower for 10904 Brook Park Road. A request from Brilliant Sign Company for a wall-mounted LED channel letter sign for Nail Supply Store at 6606 Bidoff Road. A request from Sigagna Electric and Sign Company for 2 additional identification signs on a storefront for Marks at 7359 North Cliff Avenue. Then lastly, a request from Jessica Cliff for 2 wall signs, 1 wall-mounted LED channel letter sign, and 1 business identification at 4315 Ridge Road. And again, that will be held on Thursday at 6 p.m. All are welcome to attend. Next up is the Sustainability Advisory Committee. Mr. Tansky.
Thank you. There will be a meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Committee on Wednesday, March 28th at 4:30 p.m. in the conference room at City Hall. Discuss Ordinance 2018-17, authorizing the mayor to enter into a ground lease with Enerlogic Solar LLC for the development, design, and installation and operation of a solar-powered electric generation facility on a portion of land located 9400 Memphis Avenue. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Chansky. The Finance Committee did meet this evening just prior to our council meeting at 6:30 in the conference room. And I will go over the items that are up for third reading or adoption this evening, and also items that are new to the agenda. The first of which is Ordinance 2018-27, and this is to install a new email system upgrade to the City of Brooklyn's IT and computer system from Bayless Communication in the amount of $37,587.50. Portions of our email system are outdated, need to be upgraded, and so this ordinance has been proposed, and the committee did recommend adoption this evening. Next is 2018-31 is on second reading, but the administration is requesting suspension of the rules and adoption. And this is for the mayor to enter into a contract with Software Solutions to provide the software maintenance and support of the VIP system for the City of Brooklyn. Originally, this amount was less than the required $15,000 for council approval. The new amount is $20,800, and so this does need to come before council. And once again, the committee did recommend that council adopt by emergency this evening. Ordinance 2018-36 is new to our agenda this evening, and once again, the administration is asking for this to be passed by suspension of the rules due to the timing issue of this. And this is for the city to enter into a contract with a new gas supplier, and for the natural gas for all the city buildings. Those rates were shopped competitively today, and the winner of that rate was Interstate Gas Supply. This contract will be for 3 years from June of 2018 through May of 2021, and the rate is for $3.34 per MCF. Currently, the city's paying just under $3.37 per MCF, so it is a bit of a reduction. And Mr. Rafferty from North Shore Energy was here. He's been the one that did our electric contracts and this gas contract last time. And he informed us this evening that these natural gas rates are at historic lows, some of the lowest gas prices the United States has ever seen. And so he encouraged us to lock in long-term at these lower rates because there's really no place for them to go but up. And so once again, the committee did recommend that council adopt that this evening. Ordinance 2018-37. This is the ratification of the City of Brooklyn's updated statement of investment policy. And the old policy that we're currently under right now is from 1999, and this will bring the city online with the Ohio Revised Code's requirements, and it will involve the short-term investments that the city will potentially be investing in, and Mr. Schaefer, I'm sure, will go into some more details either tonight or as we get closer to that for the adoption of that. Ordinance 2018-38, this is amending sections of our code for the City of Brooklyn to be in conformance with the newly updated state municipal income tax legislation. As Mr. Schaefer discussed at the last meeting, there was a bill that was passed by the legislators in Columbus and signed by our governor that essentially would take away the tax collection rights from the city and turn it over to the state. And that was signed by the governor. We are part of a lawsuit with several other cities trying to stop the implementation of that. We lost the first round of that. It's now in the Court of Appeals. And however, we do have this ordinance on tonight in anticipation of if we do fail, obviously, at the appeals level, we do need to be in compliance with the Ohio Revised Code. And so if I messed any of that up, Mr. Butler, you can correct it when you give your report. I think I got it right, though. And then lastly is Ordinance 2018-39. This is to amend Exhibit A of the compensation for the non-bargaining units of the city. And the mayor went over these changes, and so I will just read them into the record. For part-time administrative, the new potential range will be between $8.30 an hour to $19.084 per hour. The economic development director, currently it's set at $35,000. This would allow for a range between $35,000 and $38,000. Under the mayor's court magistrate, it's currently set at a range of $12,000 to $25,000. This would raise the range from $12,000 to $27,000. Under part-time recreation, it increases the higher end of this. The current new range will potentially be $8.30 an hour to $15.87 per hour. And of course, the lower ends had to be adjusted as well because minimum wage did go up. The part-time property maintenance inspector, the new range will be between $8.30 an hour to $25 an hour. For part-time public service employees, the range would go from $8.30 an hour to $15 an hour. Currently, the high end is $13.085. The auxiliary police guard and the school guards, the range would be from $8.30 to $13.085. Then lastly, would be the auxiliary firefighters. Currently, the range is between $15 and $18. and this would raise it to $24. And that is a substantial increase, but we're trying to remain competitive in the market, and that is essentially what the going rate is right now for the auxiliary firefighters. And that does conclude the finance report. The meetings are held just prior to council meetings, usually at 6:30 in the conference room. All are welcome to attend. We will now move on with reports of council, and we begin this evening with Mr. Tansky.
Just have one thing. Congratulations to the 7th grade basketball team on their perfect season. And good luck next year. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tansky. Next up is Mrs. Politsky.
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. I really don't have much either. I wish everyone a blessed Passover and Easter season, and hopefully some warm weather to go along with it. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Next up is Mrs. Megan Ryan Chucky.
So I apologize in advance. My report is a little lengthy. First off, according to the article on Cleveland.com today, the BHS students participated in a national walkout on March 14th that was held in response to the Parkland, Florida school shooting. I believe that civil demonstrations are an important piece of American democracy, and that no one is too young to get involved or speak up about what you believe is right, especially when it comes to your safety. I encourage these students to stay involved in talking with Brooklyn's administrators, such as the safety forum that was held last week. To better understand the department needs, I feel it is important for me to visit each department as I've done since my first month in office. By seeing how each department works and talking with directors and employees, I have a better understanding of these departments as budget discussions start. Last Tuesday, I took a tour of the service department. A sincere thank you goes out to Service Director Verba and Foreman Marty and Tom for showing me around and discussing the day-to-day aspects of their job. During the visit, I learned that our recycling numbers have gone down and there are numerous residents not recycling at all. It is important that residents recycle and that they do so correctly. www.cuyahogarecycles.org has detailed information on what can be recycled curbside, items that can be recycled but not curbside, and what needs to be disposed of in the trash. I highly encourage residents to check out this resource. Then later last week on Friday, Andy and myself visited the firehouse for 3 hours to take part in a ride-along effort to learn about the roles of the firefighters and paramedics in Brooklyn. It was a busy afternoon at the firehouse where we were given the opportunity to shadow, listen, and ask questions. Our fire department is an important asset to our small community, and after spending an afternoon down there, I know why I've only heard great things about this department. There's an open house once a year in the fall in which residents have a similar opportunity to meet firefighters and tour the facilities. This year, it will be held on October 13th, and I encourage all residents to attend. On Saturday, Andy and myself attended a new council training with the Ohio Municipal League, along with 160 other new council people around Ohio. We listened to presentations on home rule, bidding and contracts, ethics, and more. It was a great experience for me, and I'm sure a great refresher for Andy. I also want to give a quick shout out to Law Director Butler, as we learned that not all cities and villages are as blessed with a great law director like Brooklyn is. Finally, in my efforts to get to know residents and your thoughts on Brooklyn and its future, I plan to reach out to residents in multiple forms. One way is through coffee chats, in which I will be available at a certain time and date for residents throughout the year to introduce themselves, ask questions, or just sit down and talk. The first of these coffee chats will be on my 100th day in office, which will take place on Wednesday, April 18th. I will be at Dunkin' Donuts on Ridge Road from 7:15 to 8:15 and invite residents to stop by and say hi. That ends my report.
Thank you. Next up is Mr. Selhertz.
Thank you. Just a few things. Congratulations to the ladies basketball team. Second item is Taste of Brooklyn, as mentioned before. It's coming up on Saturday, April 28th from 7 to 10 p.m. at Copperstone. Tickets before pre-sale will be $15, $20 at the door. Money made from this event goes towards scholarships. Food vendors that are appearing will be Aldo's Buffalo Wild Wings, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Copperstone Catering and Event Center, Geppetto's, Opera House Cleveland, Hooley House, Polaris Career Center, Rockneys, and the City Dining Club. The scholarships. Applications are being accepted now. packets, completed packets must be postmarked by April 13th. That gives students roughly 2.5 weeks yet to get them in. Reason emphasizing it, 2 years ago they had probably about 17, 18 applications. Last year it dropped down to about half. The first scholarship will be awarded to a graduating Brooklyn High School senior who currently resides in the city of Brooklyn, will be attending a recognized college or university full-time in the fall. The second scholarship will be available to any Brooklyn High School senior, Brooklyn or Old Brooklyn resident who will be attending a recognized college or university full-time in the fall. We kind of encourage everybody to pass this information on to anybody that might be affected by this. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Selhertz. Next up is Mrs. Pucci.
Thank you. Good evening. I too would like to congratulate the 7th grade girls basketball team along with their coaches and parents. I know how exciting it is for them and just want them to know that we're all very proud of their efforts and their accomplishments. To expand a little bit more on the recycling issue, I don't know if Mr. Verba is going to expand on this more or not, but we have been spot checking residents for compliance, and those who are not compliant, we've issued some warning letters, and residents need to know that our recycling numbers are down, both for 2017 and also in the first couple months of 2018. And it's very important that we're all adhering to our regulations on recycling. This saves us money in tipping fees that we have to pay to the city of Cleveland, and it also takes away from, while it's not a great amount of revenue that we receive in recycling, for some products we do receive some revenue. I know that it can be upsetting. We did hear from some residents last week who were upset that they got this letter. However, residents need to know that the intent is not to be punitive. The intent is to educate residents, and then once they're educated, make sure that they are adhering to the regulations. We did change the process. It's not a criminal offense. This is all civil. And I know that if a resident has any questions or concerns after getting one of these letters, Mr. Verba is happy to speak with them. I think we're going to encounter residents at both ends of the spectrum and also in between. Those who are blatantly just ignoring the recycling regulations, and all the way to the other end to residents who are pretty vigilant in how they recycle, but they either missed something when we did the spot check, or maybe there's one or two things that they're not aware that they should be recycling. So again, the intent is to educate everybody and then make sure once they're educated that they are adhering to it. It's very important that all of us are doing our part. And Mr. Kolsar, when you get the report from the Community Reinvestment Housing Council formalized, would you please send that on to council?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. And for all those who do celebrate Easter, I wish them a happy and joyous Easter. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Mrs. Balbier.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment on what has been taking place in our country and has been on everybody's mind. The recent school shootings and violence has everyone concerned and disturbed. The politics of gun control and the Second Amendment rights to own and carry guns are front and center. I think we all agree that something has to be done to curtail the situation, and it seems that our adult politicians take no action. That is why it is so heartening that our young people, students, and teenagers from across the country are taking matters into their own hands. This past weekend, all across the country, there were massive protest marches demanding that our politicians take action to curtail this slaughter. No child should have to be afraid to go to school and be apprehensive every day about their safety. March for Our Lives protested in front of the White House with tens and tens of thousands of mostly students and young people. Over 800 other protests were staged throughout the country. In Cleveland on Saturday, over 20,000 people protested downtown. I was downtown Saturday. I couldn't find a parking space anywhere. It was amazing to see all these young kids. There was a similar crowd at the State House in Columbus. These protests were spearheaded by survivors of the February 14th mass shootings at the high school in Florida. We adult politicians don't seem to be accomplishing anything regarding this ridiculous situation with guns. The young people are taking the situation into their own hands, and I congratulate them. The Bible says, "And a child shall lead them." Maybe that's what it takes to bring sanity to the situation. I applaud these young protesters. I'd also like to congratulate the 7th grade girls basketball team. It always amazes me that such a small school such as Brooklyn, they seem to shine in sports, music, theater, education. It's something to be proud of. So I congratulate them, I congratulate the teachers, I congratulate the parents, because without parents and good teachers, none of this can happen. I'd also like to wish our residents, our fine residents, a happy and joyous Easter. This is my favorite time of year. It is the holiest of holidays for the Christian faith. There are so many churches in our city that have services, and I'm sure there's something that fits everyone. So if you haven't been in a while, it's okay to come back and try it again, because this spring, all things are made new again. I wish everyone a happy and joyous holiday. God bless all, and that concludes my report. Thank you.
Just a couple of things. I want to thank the administration, the rec center, Ms. McGinty, and all those that were helpful for this last Saturday's Easter egg hunt that took place here in the park behind City Hall. I was actually out of town this weekend, but my wife and son were here. My son absolutely loves the event. He talked about it all week long and could not wait to. Well, he ended up throwing his eggs at me when we got home. He likes to throw everything. He's at that age. But he had an absolute blast, and I'm not sure who the Easter Bunny was this year. It was Mr. Selhertz last time. I'm not sure if it was this year or not, but it's like does anyone know? We don't know. We don't know who it is. All right. It wasn't him this year. Well, I know it wasn't this year.
It's the Easter Bunny.
It was the Easter Bunny.
It's the Easter Bunny.
Okay, anyways, my son had a blast, and I very much appreciate that. He is 3, and he actually asked me who it was. So he did enjoy that, and so kudos to you, Miss McGinty, and the rec center. It was a lot of fun. My wife said it was absolutely packed. She's glad she got there when she did, and I took him last year with a brown paper bag, and so my wife was in charge this year. She actually had an Easter basket for him, so it was a lot of fun. And on that note, I do want to wish everyone a happy Easter. As Mrs. Balbier mentioned, it is the holiest of holidays for Christians, and I would encourage everyone to attend a church of your faith this Easter. So make a couple comments about the recycling. Mrs. Pucci hit on it, but to me it really comes down to a money issue. It costs us money to dump at the Ridge Road transfer station. It costs the city money. We actually get paid a little bit for recycling, and so the less we have in our garbage bin, the more that saves the city money. Well, when you save the city money, that's less taxpayer dollars that's being spent. And so I received some of the emails too of people that were upset, and as Mrs. Pucci mentioned, we're certainly not trying to be nasty about it. We're just trying to be good stewards of your tax money. And so if you could help us out with that, and Mr. Verba has been very good at responding to questions. I forwarded him an email and he responded immediately. And he'll be happy to talk to everyone. And also, one of the things that Mrs. Balbier mentioned, she talked about the school shootings. I want to thank our school resource officer here in the city of Brooklyn for the work that he does at the city. I'm not sure how many people saw in the news because a large part of the news media kind of just bypassed it, but there was another school shooting at the Maryland Great Mills High School this last Tuesday, and the school resource officer stopped the incident from escalating very, very rapidly. It was over within seconds. And so I want to thank him for that and the vigilance that took place there. And I would expect absolutely nothing less from the school resource officer here in the city of Brooklyn. I know he would act the same way. And there was a lot of mistakes that were made. It's coming out down in Parkland. And so hopefully those mistakes will be corrected of laws that are already on the books. And so hopefully we can stop these shootings in the future. No one wants to see that happen. So at this time, I will pass it on to the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Van Kirk. I also want to say thanks for all the family and children that came out for the Easter egg hunt. We had over 95 kids. It was a terrific turnout. And this tradition in Brooklyn has been going on well over 50 years. So it's just something great to look forward to. Residents can come to every year with their children. I want to congratulate all the students awarded at the Winter Sports Banquet last week. I was invited to hand out some awards, and These students are amazing. They have, terrific grades. They're, award-winning teams like we saw tonight. So the fact that they honor them, I just want to thank our athletic director, Ryan Kelber, is doing a good job there, and all the coaches and the parents that are so helpful with making their kids successful at the school. I want to thank all the residents who came out to the terraces at Northridge for a meeting last week. It was just a great dialogue to sit down and have residents ask me questions or tell me about certain issues. I will have another meeting this Wednesday at 6:30 at the Westbrook apartment, so if you live there, come on out and join the conversation. We're going to be having a groundbreaking for the solar farm April 4th at 2 p.m. if anyone's interested in coming. The other thing I wanted to pass on, the week of April 9th is Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. So I just want to thank all the dispatchers for the work that they do. It is such a difficult job. And if you can kind of think back to, the time when we had dispatchers right downstairs and incident like Cracker Barrel happens, just, some of the information that they're hearing and trying to help, and they're not actually on scene and passing that information on to the officers and being speedy. I mean, that sort of thing happens all the time. And so to keep up with that, to hear that information, it's a difficult job. And, I think part of the reason why we see such a high turnover, not just in the Parma Regional Dispatch Center, but all over, is because it is such a difficult job. There are people in this world just that can't do it, and I know I'm one of those people that would not be able to do that job. So thank you for the work you do to all those dispatchers out there. I also want to pass on a kind of a congratulations and a thank you to the Sausage Shop family, the Heinley family. You probably read in the newspaper, there's been multiple articles and on the news. They're closing this week after 80 years in business, but they've also been a valuable member of the Brooklyn community as well. They've been in our chamber since 2007, participated in numerous events. So I think a lot of us here in Brooklyn are really going to miss the Sausage Shop right down the street, and so I just want to thank them publicly for all they've done for the city of Brooklyn as well, even though they're just down the street in Cleveland. And lastly, I just wanted to wish everybody a nice Easter holiday with their families. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mayor. We'll move on with the director's report. We begin this evening with our finance director, Mr. Schaefer.
Good evening. I just have a couple additions here for Ordinance 2018-37 associated with the investment policy. This is an initiative to bring the city's investment policy in line with the ORC, as well as take advantage of some increasing interest rates in the market. The proposed updated policy will also bring the city more in line with current investment options allowed under the Ohio Revised Code. For Ordinance 2018-38, associated with the changes in the city's tax code, the changes are associated only with a centralized collection of net profit taxes, and that's what's reflected in those two changes there. I sent City Council an email Thursday, the 15th, overviewing some initiatives for the Finance Department and some upcoming legislation. Looking ahead to April and May, this is kind of the ramp up for April, May, and June, where you'll be seeing different pieces of legislation from me. Much of this is very similar to what we did last year, and very similar to what we did last year. We started meeting in May of 2000.
Only happens to him.
So very similar to what we did in May of 2017 to start crafting the appropriations for 2018. We are now going to begin in May of 2018 to begin the City Council budget work sessions associated for the 2019. The City Council can expect to see some of the initial capital requests from the department in 2019, and between now and then I'll be working with the directors to start compiling those, as well as some of the known changes and the known factors in the 2019 appropriations, and that completes my report.
Thank you, Dave. Sorry about that. Okay, and the last director's report we have this evening is our service director, Mr. Verba.
Thank you, Councilman Van Kirk. Good evening. The City of Brooklyn's recycle totals last year dropped by 160 tons, and during the first 2 months of 2018, we have already seen a decline of 35 tons. In the recycling industry, when cities change from bins to an automated system, the numbers are supposed to increase by 50%. In my opinion, that is a bit drastic, but our numbers should not be declining. The City of Brooklyn gets charged $42.29 for every ton of trash that is not recycled. In 2017, our tipping fees were $125,595.30. In 1990, the City of Brooklyn was the first city in Cuyahoga County to make recycling mandatory. With the changes in the ordinances this past year, the Service Department will start enforcing recycling in 2018. The Service Department started to monitor recycling content this past week. We have a worker who is on light duty that rides with the automated recycle driver. If there's no recycle container out, then the worker will look into the trash to see if there are any recycled material. If he spots recycling in the container, the resident received a warning letter. On Monday and Tuesday, even if one recycle item was found, the resident received a letter. We understand that you may not put your container out every week, but there still should be no recycling in the trash container. After much consideration, the worker has been instructed to only warn residents that have several items in the container. It is understandable that you could accidentally throw something away. All of Monday and Tuesday's warnings will be dismissed. The most common items that we found were cardboard boxes, junk mail, and plastics. For a complete list of materials, you can visit the city's website at www.brooklynohio.gov. And also another great website, as Councilman Meg Ryan Shockey stated, the CuyahogaRecycles.org. The city will begin picking up compost on Monday, April 2nd. Just another friendly reminder, compost must be placed in a container or brown bag. Compost in plastic bags will not be taken. Just a reminder that the Service Department will be closed on Friday, March 30th, so there will be no special pickups this week. And if you have any further questions, feel free to call my office at 216-635-4219, or you can call the dispatcher if I'm not available at 216-635-4232. And the one other note, the City of Brooklyn was once again awarded Tree City USA. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Verba.
Excuse me, may I be recognized?
Sure.
I just have a brief question. I thought we were told last year that we wouldn't be able to use those brown bags for compost. Has that changed?
Well, so far we haven't gotten a definitive word from Kurtz Brothers, so we're still going to go ahead and accept them. I know a lot of residents still have them from last year. But eventually we would really like to get everybody just to put their recycling in a garbage can.
Compost.
I mean, I've got a lot of calls about recycling this week, so some nice and some not so nice. But yeah, we would like everybody to eventually put their compost into a garbage can.
So really, we should be, residents should be planning
Yeah, we
that
kind of want.
they're not going to accept the brown bags.
As of right now, we will accept them. Well, but eventually it's going to come to a head where we're not going to be able to take them anymore.
Got it. Thank you.
So don't buy any more.
Right.
Don't buy anymore. Thank you for being very blunt. I appreciate that, Mr. Verba, as always. It's good information. Thank you. All right, we'll now move on with legislation. And the first item is ordinance 2018-17. This is the ordinance that Mr. Tansky talked about that they're going to discuss in their sustainability meeting, and it is in abeyance. Ordinance 2018-27 is up for third reading and adoption. This is authorizing the service configuration and installation of an email system upgrade, the City of Brooklyn's IT computer system from Bailey Communications, in the amount of $37,587.50. Are there any comments or questions?
Move to adopt.
Second.
To adopt, Kevin Tansky,
Yes.
Barb Politzky,
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk,
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki,
Yes.
Andy Selhertz,
Yes.
Kathy Pucci,
Yes.
Mary Bellbeer.
Yes.
Next up is ordinance 2018-31. This is up for second reading, but we do hope to pass by suspension of the rules this evening, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Software Solutions SSI to provide software, maintenance, and support of the visual intelligence software system for the City of Brooklyn. for the period April 1st, 2018 to March 31st, 2019. Any comments or questions?
Introduced by all to suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky. Yes. Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
To adopt, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky. Yes. Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
The next two ordinances are on second reading. Ordinance 2018-33, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for the sale and purchase of vacant City of Brooklyn Land Bank property on Shady Lane, parcel number 43311-099 for $100 and other good and valuable consideration. Ordinance 2018-34, authorizing the mayor to enter into a job retention and creation grant agreement with Hope Bridge LLC. Under new business this evening, the first is ordinance 2018-36. And again, we hope to pass this by suspension of the rules. This is authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract agreement with, and the name of that supplier will be IGS, or Interstate Gas Supply, as supplier of natural gas for city buildings. We will need to amend this to put the IGS in.
Move to amend by adding IGS to the title in the second whereas, inserting 3 years and also IGS, and in section 1 inserting 3 years. I don't think we've got the March date yet though. And also with IGS inserted there, and for a rate of 3.340.
Second.
To amend, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky. Yes. Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Introduced by all as amended.
Second.
Or suspend the rules, sorry. Introduced by all, suspend the rules as amended. Is everything okay, Mr. Butler?
Yes.
Okay.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky. Yes. Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
To adopt as amended, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky. Yes. Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
The last three ordinances are on first reading. Ordinance 2018-37, an ordinance to ratify the City of Brooklyn's updated statement of investment policy. Ordinance 2018.
May I make a motion to amend that now? So we do it on first reading?
Sure.
I make a motion that we amend in the first whereas by striking the word govern.
Second?
To amend, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
And we might as well amend the next one as well, which is ordinance 2018-38, amending sections 182.03 and 182.05, and enacting section 182.051 of the codified ordinance of the City of Brooklyn to bring the code into conformance with recently updated state municipal income tax legislation. And I'll make the motion that we amend the sixth whereas, the third line where it says Lakewood, and it should be Brooklyn.
Second?
To amend, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
And then lastly on first reading is ordinance 2018-39, amending Exhibit A of ordinance 2016-88, providing for the compensation for the part-time, full-time, and administrative employees non-bargaining agreement of the City of Brooklyn, Ohio. Does anyone on council, the mayor, directors, have anything like to add?
Move to adjourn?
Second?
To adjourn, Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Barb Politzky.
Yes.
Ron Van Kirk.
Yes.
Meg Ryan Shaki.
Yes.
Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening and happy Easter.